Hey, it's Put It on the Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this is episode 11.
Once,
Once.
as they say in Spanish.
It's our final episode for this semester. And
it is.
We're kind of having a closing time here at Put It on the Podcast.
Yeah.
And it's a fun time.
It is so fun. A little bittersweet, but mostly fun because we've just been reminiscing over all our memories, and that's been fun. So we've just been cracking ourselves up.
Kind of like a walk through this semester.
It is. It's fun. We realize how completely random that we are and how we talk about those random things. But that's what this podcast is for, and it's fun.
We have successfully put it on the podcast.
Well, we've put so much on the podcast, and we have successfully met our goal. And speaking of meeting goals, we're going to kick it off with the accountability corner.
You know how we do.
That's how we do. So I wrote a blog. I wrote it this morning because last night I made the choice to watch Pirates of the Caribbean instead of write a blog, which was a great choice I do not regret. Because today is the first day of finals, and I didn't have a final. So I got up, and I drank some coffee, and I wrote a blog. And it's really good, so you should read it. But, the important thing is I got the blog written, and another Friday has gone by, and another blog has been written. So, go team.
Go team.
Go accountability corner.
Go Liz for writing the
Go
blog.
team Liz. She did
right.
it.
All right, so since it's the last one, we want to issue some thank yous.
We do. So many people to be thankful for. We couldn't have done it without a few handfuls of people. So specifically, we want to thank Luke and JJ Campbell, who have been faithful and encouraging since the beginning. When Andrew and I were like, we want to do this weird thing called a podcast, they were like, do it, why not? And we were like, okay. And Luke even went above and beyond and loaned us our microphone that we use every week. So, Old Blue, the Blue Snowball. So thank you to Luke and JJ, who are our good friends and supporters. And then...
Right, I want to shout out to the Gray brothers.
That's right.
Kevin and Kenneth Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are big podcast listeners outside of ours. And Kevin likes to listen to sports podcasts. He's like, y'all should just go ahead and make a podcast.
Yeah.
So we did.
And
so thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Kenneth, for supporting us since day one.
Yeah, Kenneth makes a podcast too, doesn't he?
He does, I think, with some guys in Jackson. So.
Yeah. So they've been good encouragers. Oh.
So also thank you to day one supporter, Bretton Crosby and Ryan Capel.
Yeah, our first day we walked into their office and we were like, what do you know about making a podcast?
And they were like...
And they told us.
You can either do like this legal stuff and put it on
iTunes.
And we're like, if we don't want to do paperwork, can we just put it on YouTube? And they're like, yeah, just make a podcast and drop it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So we did. Here we are. Put it on the podcast.
We're putting it on the podcast. And also, we cannot go without thanking Ivy Scarlett, our girl Ivy, who's a freshman, and she is awesome. And she is really inspired by our podcast, which is inspiring to us. So thanks, Ivy. So she's great. She's always a big promoter of the podcast. So
also, thanks, Ivy, for driving me to Memphis that time for LT Formal. That was dope.
Go Ivy. Such a great friend.
Shout out, thank you to Jonathan Fletcher. He's a big supporter. I love you, Jonathan Fletcher. You're a great man. And also David Brand for that time when they combined for the suggestion of
Batman.
That was a good one.
That was fun. And then last but not least, we have to thank our one special guest that we had, Germanic. He was hilarious, and we loved having him.
I see you out there, Germ.
Germanic still cracks me up to this day whenever I see him in the library or wherever I see him. He always says hi. He's such a great guy, and he gave us that Honey Bun Guy tweet, so that was really great. So, Germanic, hilarious. Thanks for hanging out with us.
All right. That wraps up the thank you section. It's been a good time, and we're grateful for all of you listeners out there.
Indeed we are.
And for the listeners in the future, because it's on YouTube, and who knows how the internet works. It could be out there forever.
It will be out there forever. Unless someone messes with the atmosphere, which I don't think is going to happen.
That would be
Or the cloud, if you will.
The cloud.
Let's not go there, because the world would end.
All right, let's go backwards it's a trip to memory lane. That's what it's called.
A montage
of
sorts.
Montage. So if you can picture in your head just pictures of these events occurring. I'm sorry, I had a final today, and so I'm kind of waxed, and
it's okay.
My words aren't working well.
You're doing great.
But we're going to go on a montage through the year. Put it on the podcast and kind of walk through, hit some of the highlights.
Our best moments.
Hit some of the valleys.
And the mountaintops.
Because that's where we stayed, is on the mountaintops.
Speaking of mountaintops, our first montage and trip down memory lane was I think it was our third podcast. We recorded on the roof.
On the roof.
Because we constantly face the struggle of where do we meet and record this podcast? Because we have to find an empty room somewhere. And sometimes our empty rooms aren't empty and we have to find another empty room. So one time, empty rooms were all unavailable and we were like, let's go on the roof. And it worked out great. We got in an elevator right as an MC employee was getting in the elevator. And she got us up to the 4th floor and she was like, do y'all want to get on the roof? And we're like, yes. So she got us on the roof. But little did we know that the roof would completely mess up our recording and the wind was like all the time. Yeah. But that was good.
Yeah, but it was good. And that was the first time we talked about the plastic bag.
Yes.
Katy Perry, do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Yes, and that stuck with us.
We've mentioned that
and we
several
stuck
times.
by our claim that plastic bag is not an emotion.
Plastic bag is not an emotion.
And plastic bags don't have feelings, so to feel like a plastic bag would be just not possible.
Hashtag plastic bag is not an emotion.
It is not an emotion. But that was a fun episode.
Yeah, and then we had the episode called Paper Bag.
We did.
That was fun too, kind of going on that theme.
Yeah.
Shout out Mary Elizabeth Stringer.
Thank you, Mary Elizabeth.
Giving us that paper bag.
Andrew loved that paper bag.
It changed my life.
It changed his life, and he kept it in his backpack.
I still have it right now.
I was going to say, I would bet he still has it. It was great. We mapped out our whole week.
It's about 2 feet away from me right now.
It is, in his backpack. Good times.
Boom. All right, let's talk about things that we talked about a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked a lot about football.
Football.
Because he's a big Ole Miss fan, I'm a big LSU fan. We both went to some games. And we stayed friends.
That's
Yay
right.
us.
Hotty toddy.
Yeah, go Tigers. But we're still friends.
Still friends.
It's fine. It's fine. No big deal. But yeah, we talked a lot about football. You sat at the...
I sat at the football table in the caf.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
A lot of good memories from the football table.
A lot of good memories there. A lot of good arguments. Good
stories.
Just funny times.
Yes.
And that's where we got the phrase 10 toes down.
Yes.
I learned that at the football table.
And I misinterpreted the phrase 10 toes down.
Yeah, because you thought it meant putting your feet in the sand.
Andrew was talking about 10 toes down, getting pumped about it, and it just means like literally flat-footed on the ground, like all 10 of your toes are on the ground. And I was like, oh yeah, 10 toes down. Like, I'm thinking like you plant some roots in the ground, like your toes are the roots, and you put the dirt around it. And I'm like, yeah, totally, we're on 10 toes in the dirt. And he was like, no, you're misunderstanding this.
It just means established.
It just means you're standing there, you're not going anywhere. Your toes are perfectly in the normal place they should be. They're just down on the ground. Not in the ground, on the ground.
On the ground. 10 toes down.
10 toes down.
All right.
We talk a lot about coffee because we both love coffee, and I really love coffee. And I had a lot of coffee mishaps, which I guess it just happens to people that drink a lot of coffee.
I think you just spilled coffee like once a week.
Yes, it happens. It's going to happen. And yeah, my Keurig had a lot of ups and downs. We're on a third Keurig now, our house. I don't know if I told y'all this. We ditched Madison's old one because it was being bad, and I brought mine back after Thanksgiving break. So we're on a third Keurig. Go us.
Keurig number 3.
Keurig number 3
so
in the lighthouse.
As we like to say, don't hate.
Caffeinate. That's right. Andrew, I've seen him chug many a cup of coffee just because he wanted to. So
yeah,
he's
it's
caffeinated
great.
a lot. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad coffee's not illegal.
Me too.
It's a great drug.
It is. Great legal stimulant.
Right.
Yes. Also, we love social media.
And Twitter.
Namely Twitter, we do.
Mostly Twitter.
Mostly Twitter. And we've really gotten into like monitoring our cloud scores that go up and down. Currently, we're both at 62 right now.
62.
Yeah.
But that's like a solid score. Right?
That's a solid score. Because I remember we were both solidly at like 59s last year, I think. And we were like, man, 60 what? And we like got to 60, we were pumped. And then 61 was like a huge thing. And so now it's kind of like we're solidly at 62. Sometimes we get to 63 and it's exciting. So
Cloud score.
I
got a Cloud perk in the mail.
Ooh,
I got a McDonald's gift card.
No way.
From Cloud. Yeah.
From Cloud?
Yeah.
Like in your MC box?
Well,
or like an email?
Sent to my house, and then my mom brought it out here today. Shout out to Jane Wilson, my mom.
Hey, Jane.
She's a big believer in me.
She is.
I
She's
love
your
my
biggest
mom.
fan. Tell them what she got you.
Yeah, today.
She got you the coolest thing ever.
My mom brought me a card, and it had a lion with its tongue out, and it said, "Smile so big," or "Happy birthday, smile so big that it scares people." And then she crossed that out, and I was like, "It's not your birthday." And she's like, "Remind finals who's king."
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, "Boom."
Your mom knows you so well.
She said, "Because you've been on a lion kick."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Absolutely."
Right. When Andrew told me this, I kind of had a freak out, and I was like, "It's not his birthday. His birthday's in June, isn't it? In June?
June 21st.
Okay. June 21st. But anyways,
boom.
It's
that was
finals
a good day.
Well, what else are we obsessed with?
Lions.
We're obsessed with lions. We're totally obsessed with lions. You got really a bit because the movie
Brad
Troy.
Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy when he's like, let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
That's right.
And I was like, I just want to be a lion with you, Brad Pitt.
Yep.
So there's that. We went through a barbecue phase.
We did go through a barbecue phase. Pig and Pint was awesome. I went to Pig and Pint a lot. Ate a lot of good barbecue tacos and salads and sandwiches and everything under the sun.
Me too. I went with like a bunch of people before a football game at Bellhaven. I went for like family lunch. I went with First Baptist Jackson family, like the Alaska trip. We went to Pig and Pint. It was just...
I took my family to Pig and Pint.
You took your
over the
family?
summer. I think it was over the summer. I took them to Pig and Pint. And they loved it. And it was great.
Welcome week, they had Pig and Pint potato salad at Night at the Res, and it changed my life.
Changed your life. It
was
change
so
your life.
good.
Yeah, we love us some barbecue. Ooh, Andrew made a Pig and Pint radio ad.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
And then my radio professor went the next day, and guess what? He tweeted at me.
Hey.
Hashtag Twitter.
Hashtag successful ad.
Hashtag successful
ad.
ad.
Successful advertising. Good job, Andrew.
Literally best.
Literally best. The beginning of the year, you're obsessed with another animal.
I wanted to be a bear.
That's right. Why'd you want to be a bear?
I don't remember like the specific reason I said, but I'm pretty sure it revolved around like you sleep for 3 or 4 months and then you wake up.
You eat.
And you eat.
Yeah.
That just sounds magical.
It does sound magical.
Like, whoa. I'm
Whoa.
asleep and then whoa.
Whoa.
Eat.
Yeah.
That's like a college man's dream or college girl's dream, like sleep and eat.
It totally is a dream right now. Bears living the dream. Bears are great.
You do you, bears. You got a long winter ahead. So
Keep being bears.
you just stay asleep.
I wonder if bears are already asleep. Do you think they're already asleep?
I don't know. If I was a bear, I'd be asleep.
You'd be like gone. Totally asleep. Well, let's see if there's some good soundtracks out there
Ooh.
that we love. We love soundtracks.
Let's talk about Interstellar.
Let's talk about it.
All right, you haven't seen the film yet.
I have not.
But this has been a big theme throughout putting on the podcast as well. Because I remember early in the podcast days, I was like, this great movie's coming out called Interstellar. Christopher Nolan. He did all these great films. I just realized the other day, he did The Prestige as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really good movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we mentioned it early on. And then I mentioned in the accountability corner that I was going to go see it. And then I saw it twice. And now the soundtrack's
You've
out.
seen it twice?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw it with Kevin Gray, Melissa Robertson, and Beth Rayner in Madison one night. And then maybe the weekend it came out. And then over Thanksgiving break, on Thanksgiving night actually, I saw it with my mom and dad and my little brother John. So
That's awesome. I still have to see it. My plan is to see it over Christmas break with my family. But I've already been listening to the soundtrack because Andrew talks about it so much. So we'll listen to it when we're blogging, when we're doing homework, or just when we want to be inspired.
it's so good.
It's great. It's a great soundtrack.
So good.
Y'all should go listen to it.
Ooh.
But let's see. What else?
We had those segments that didn't quite work.
We wanted to get them off the ground. We were so excited. I don't know what happened. I think we just forgot
I
that.
think we literally forgot.
We literally forgot. But there were two. One of them was, what the heck just happened? Because we had all these moments in our lives where we just like look around like, what the heck just happened?
Like that time that guy chased you back in your car.
Like, okay, yes, like the time the guy chased me in my car and I was being a perfectly law-abiding citizen, changing lanes. No, that's not what happened. Someone was not being a law-abiding citizen and tried to get in my lane, and so then I swerved and almost hit this guy. But there wasn't an accident. We were fine. Anyways, but he followed me all the way back to Clinton, yelling, like rolled his window down on the interstate and was like yelling profanities at me and like pulled over and waited for me at the exit, and I had to like lose him on my way home. It was basically a car chase. It was basically an
Creepy.
action film star. Yeah, basically, yeah.
I remember, that kind of ties into, if we had the segments at the beginning, we could have done episode 2, What the Heck Just Happened, and My Life as a Movie, because you were in a movie.
It was an action
It was an
film.
action
Yes.
movie.
So the second segment was My Life as a Movie, because all these things kept happening. Like that, you had that one day, you just felt like you were in a movie. I can't remember exactly what happened, but
Yeah, there was like this, like a couple of weeks where I would just get out of radio early, and then me and Lauren Rutledge and Caitlin McCarty would go sit on the front steps of Avon and just listen to music. And it was like, who are we that, like, what kind of people are we that we get to sit on the front steps? Everybody else is like going to class.
Yeah.
We're just chilling,
Listen to music.
Listen to music.
I think of High School Musical for some reason.
Yeah, it was like one of those high school movies. Where it's
Yeah.
like, there's those people just sitting there chilling, listening to music.
Yeah.
And for a while, that was us.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you're always like, when you watch them, you're like, is that even like real life? Like, can you actually do that? But y'all did it.
We did it.
Wow.
My life is a movie.
Lives are a movie. We had that one day that was our favorite day. It was my favorite day of the whole semester. I thought about it today. That was my favorite day of the whole semester.
I'm not really good at picking like favorite days.
It probably wasn't your favorite day. That's
this
okay.
was a great day though.
It was a great day, but it was Halloween. October 31st, 2014.
October 31st, 2014.
So it started, you tell me how it started with you when you won that thing. You found that thing.
Yeah, so I got out of radio early.
Right, already a great day.
Already. And so instead of sitting on the front steps, we're like, it's Harry Potter Day at Cups, let's go. So me and Lauren Rutledge go over to Cups, and there's like this golden snitch competition.
So
and
cool.
I'm like looking for it, and then I give up, and I sit down, and Lauren's like, hey, I put a note in that desk one time, you should see if it's still there. Open up the desk. What's in there?
The golden snitch!
The golden snitch. So I got some candy, and then I already had coffee, so I'm just yonking. I'm like very excited.
So he showed up to class double-fisted with a thing of candy and a thing of coffee. And then I was like, he told me, I think I saw it on Twitter that it was Harry Potter Day, and then he told me it was Harry Potter Day, and so then I'm like pumped, and I can't wait to get out of class. So we get out of class, and I go to Cups, and I literally spend the rest of the entire day at Cups. And I think I had the longest Snapchat story I've ever had in my life because I was Snapchatting everything. And they basically like completely redecorated Cups to where it looked like Hogwarts. And I felt like I was in, it was one of those My Life as a Movie. I was like, my dream has come true. I have 2 dreams in life, movie related. One of them is to like go to Narnia. The other one is to go to Hogwarts. And so one of them actually happened. And I really felt like I was in Hogwarts. And I sat with the table where a little trail of spiders was going out the window. And there was the Chamber of Secrets. And then there were the floating candlesticks. And we were in the 3 broomsticks. It was so cool. It was so cool.
It was a great day.
And I made my first Pottermore account and figured out I'm in Ravenclaw. So I felt like I belonged. I was sorted. I was in Hogwarts. Yes. And I even got my wand, which has a phoenix feather on the inside. So there's that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Liz's best day right there.
It was my favorite day. And then after that, my house, which is called the Lighthouse, lived with 5 other girls in the Lighthouse. It's not a lighthouse, but we call it the Lighthouse. And we had a Halloween party that night, and we projected an old black and white like mystery movie on the side of our shed, and then we had like hay bales and 2 campfires and s'mores and a photo booth and lots of good food, and it was awesome.
Such a fun time.
It was such a good day.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up our montage right there on that happiest moment.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm happy.
We'll roll into the last blind question segment.
Yes. Okay. You want me to go first so that we can save your awesome question for last?
Okay, sure.
But you always go first. We're just going to make it crazy today.
We'll make it crazy. All right.
Okay.
Blind question segment. Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, my blind question is pretty weird. It is... Okay, so we were talking earlier about, like, American things and getting sentimental about freedom and whatnot earlier. I was talking to Andrew and Breton before we recorded. So my question is, what's your favorite moment in America? Like, when you look back over the history of America, what's, like, your proudest moment? You obviously don't have to have been alive. It could be, like, in the 1700s or 1800s when you're like, man, America. And you're just pumped to be an American.
Man.
You
All right, I'm thinking of a couple, like, three things right here.
Okay.
All right, number one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about just watching, like, Lone Survivor, great movie, that guy's story, and just, like, that like, redemption at the end of that, really strong. Number two, I'm thinking about 9/11. This is, like, the first, like, big event that I remember in my lifetime of America's, like, coming together, and, like, Alan Jackson, Where Were You That Day, and then Toby Keith, Courtesy Red, White, and Blue, like, those songs, like, everybody just kind of uniting under the banner of America.
Yeah.
And so, like, just, like, the strength of the American people after 9/11, and then iconic moment, the flag raising at Iwo Jima.
Wow, that's good.
Just, like, I don't know what it actually means to have been there that day, but seeing that picture, like, the belief of, like, we've overcome this mountain and we're going to put up our American flag because that's what we're here for.
That's so great.
So those are my
Those are
American
good.
moments.
Wow, you went for it. You outdid America right there. Have you ever read Flags of Our Fathers?
I've not.
It's good. They talk about the flag raising and wow, that's good. Mine is not as cool. I will say 9/11 is probably a big one because that was like my first moment of like, this is America. I'm an American. Like seeing everyone come together. But then also for some reason, I think about the Boston Tea Party and how we were just like, you know what, England, screw you. We're America. We're going to do what we want. We're not paying your taxes and we're going to be independent. So I think of Boston Tea Party, just like chunking it overboard, be like, nah.
That's
We're
awesome.
American. So yeah, that's what I think
great.
of. All right, what about you?
All right, mine is, what is your favorite tweet ever?
Oh gosh,
It comes back to Twitter.
Going back to Twitter, my favorite tweet ever. I don't know if I have a favorite ever. probably would be like a mixture between like those common white girl tweets that are all like absolutely hilarious and speak what everyone's thinking of. But I'll say that tweet that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so I'll say this is one of my favorite tweets, because to say something is my favorite tweet ever is like a really big deal. And I don't know if I have a favorite tweet ever, but I have a favorite tweet. And this is one that my friend tweeted, and I retweeted it. And Andrew really loves Professor Snape from Harry Potter. I like Professor Snape, especially after I read the 6th book. Andrew's loved him from the beginning. He's day one. I
knew Snape was the best.
He knew. He could see it into his complexity.
It was incredible. I love Snape.
He loves Snape. So anyway, so I saw this tweet, and I really, really like it. And it just makes me laugh. And it goes, y'all remember when you found out that Snape actually wasn't the bad guy, but was an incredibly well-layered and complex character? #always. And I just love that, because it's about Snape, and it's about incredibly well-layered and complex characters, which I'm obviously a literature freak, and so anything that's like incredibly well-layered and complex, I'm like, brilliance. So Snape and complexity, love it.
All right,
you tell us your favorite tweet ever.
Favorite tweet ever. And I just said I'm not good at favorite things.
But you're the...
But this is my favorite tweet of all time.
Okay.
I think this happened my senior year of high school. My friend Russell Feaster, who I met at Passion, retweeted a girl from his high school, and it said, "Twitter be poppin' just like my booty."
It's your favorite tweet ever.
It's my favorite tweet ever.
He's like shaking right now with excitement. He's like, can't even hold it in. That's funny.
You can't beat that tweet.
No.
Tell me 3 tweets better than that.
I'm not gonna try.
0.
Because they will not. They're just not.
Twitter
better.
be popping just like my booty.
So great.
It's my favorite tweet of all time.
That's so good. I'm so glad we got to end on that note.
All right.
All right.
Let's wrap it up like a burrito.
Like a burrito, like we always have.
The burrito ending.
Consider it wrapped,
And
my friends.
That's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Goodbye.
Bye.